5 Republicans in Washington now working to change what your health care looks like and touting what they have so far.
This is the team sport. We're working hand in glove with President Trump, Vice President Pence, Secretary Price. This is an all hands on deck.
But while the plan to change the Affordable Care Act has deepened the divide between Republicans and Democrats, it's also dividing the GOP.
It's much akin to Christmas, where that oratory is a pretty ribbon and nice wrapping paper, but you open up the present and it's a lump of coal.
RTV6 working for you tonight, digging into one of the proposals that could impact 250,000 Hoosiers.
If HIP did go away, I'm not sure where I'd look. I would still be under my dad's insurance, but only until 26.
From the station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 5.
This is a good day. This is what good conservative healthcare reform looks like.
Good evening on this Wednesday. After years of promises to repeal the Affordable Care Act, Republicans formally starting that process today with plans to dismantle former President Obama's signature health care law. Lawmakers have started hearings to formally write the legislation needed. It's expected to restructure the country's health care system with a more conservative, market-oriented approach. Now, House Speaker Paul Ryan and other top Republicans defending that plan today.
We cannot ignore this problem any longer. That's why we had the wisdom to listen, and now this week we'll have the courage to lead.
But here's the thing. The plan has drawn criticism from both Democrats and fellow Republicans. Some Republicans say the measure does not go far enough, while Democrats say the changes would mean millions lose out on health care coverage they would otherwise not have.
The repeal bill will not protect patients, will not save money, and will not help working families. Instead, it's a drastic, devastating step backward, and the only people who stand to benefit are the healthy and the wealthy.
Insiders say if everything stays on schedule, the plan should go before the full House in about 3 weeks. Now, one of the proposed changes could lead to cuts in a program that hundreds of thousands of people rely on right here in Indiana. RTV6 State House reporter Katie Hines joining us live with the details on the potential impact to HIP 2.0 and how patients are reacting tonight.
Melissa, cuts in funding and eligibility could be on the horizon for HIP 2.0 if these proposed changes do, in fact, take effect. Senate President David Long telling me today that this future of this program is a big concern. Taylor Mathis is one of an estimated 430,000 people enrolled in the Healthy Indiana plan as of the end of January.
I haven't really utilized it that much, but it is pretty darn good.
The 24-year-old graduated from Franklin College in 2015. He's been searching for a job since, and he decided HIP 2.0 is the best option. Since he's unemployed, Mathis says he only pays about $1 per month for his coverage.
If HIP did go away, I'm not sure where I'd look. I would still be under my dad's insurance, but only until 26 if that part even stays. I'd have to start searching all over again, I imagine.
As part of the proposed health care changes at the federal level, states like Indiana would receive a smaller, more limited match for Medicaid expansions like HIP 2.0 beginning in fiscal year 2020. The Affordable Care Act gave states the option of expanding Medicaid to cover more people, with the federal government picking up more of the cost. Top Republicans at the State House say the potential impact in Indiana isn't clear yet, but the Senate president points to some potentially difficult decisions, while both state leaders and those who rely on coverage wait to see what happens in Washington.
It was going to be a 90-10 federal-state split on the expanded amount. Now it looks like they may go back to 66% from the feds, 34% states. That's a huge impact on the state budget. If that, in fact, occurs, we'll have to probably trim the program in order to be able to afford it.
And leaders here at the State House in Indiana, probably not the only ones looking into this, watching and waiting to see what will happen. Indiana is one of 31 states with expanded Medicaid programs, of course, here known as HIP 2.0. Melissa.
So, Katie, are all of the states' expansions the same here?
No, and Indiana's is different. One big key difference is that people who are enrolled in HIP 2.0 contribute monthly to a health savings account. Back to you.
Very important note there. Katie Hines reporting for us. I know you'll stay on top of this, Katie. Thank you. All right, want to jump to some breaking news. RTV6 is following tonight. Colts tight end Dwayne Allen reportedly traded to the Patriots. ESPN's Adam Schefter among those reporting tonight. No word yet, though, on what the Colts will get in return. This comes after Allen signed a 4-year deal with the Colts just last March, but he caught just 35 passes last season, and fellow tight end Jack Doyle signed a big contract with the team yesterday. Now stay tuned. Our Brad Brown will have the very latest developments coming up tonight at 6. And let's turn now to weather, because if you're like me, today is a ponytail day. I'm just going to let you know. Wind gusts 40 miles an hour. Possible tonight that it's going to get even worse on the Storm Team 6 alert day, and we got to check in with Cal Mounts to see just how strong these winds are expected to be all night.
Oh, Melissa, no ponytail day for me. I got to tell you, just cut the hair off here a little bit. But those winds are going to start to subside a little bit. But look at some of these top gusts. Logansport, 56-mile-per-hour gust for you this afternoon. Topped 50 miles per hour in Anderson, Kokomo, even Indianapolis around 2 o'clock. Were you out then? Yeah, we had that wind gust of 51 miles per hour, and still those winds are gusty out of the west. 44 miles per hour in Indy, still close to 50-mile-per-hour gust for you in Peru. That wind advisory goes through 7 o'clock this evening. I think once we reach about 9 o'clock tonight, those gusts will be 30 miles per hour and lower. Let's not get you too much motion sickness here as we're looking at that bouncing camera from the IMS Pagoda. At least temperatures are mild, and we've had that sunshine today. We'll find numbers falling back into the 40s here by 8 o'clock. Those clear skies and much less of a wind by 10 p.m.
Cal, thank you. Tonight, investigators are debunking yet another false rumor being spread as they search for the killer of the 2 young girls in Delphi. State police say the Delphi case has been incorrectly connected to a 2012 homicide in Iowa. No connection has been made between those 2 cases. Meanwhile, the reward for the information is now up to more than $224,000 tonight after last night's pizza fundraiser. A new task force will also consider ideas to keep the walking trails near Delphi safer, including adding cameras, utilizing safety stations, and conducting patrols.
Well, our early group that was working through the late 80s, 90s, and up into the 2000s included about 40 people on the Delphi Historic Trails volunteer list. So these were people we could call on to do various things. We weren't, I can't say we weren't concerned about security, we just didn't deal with it because it wasn't the issue. Today the issue is, of course, security.
And again tonight, if you have any information on the murders of Libby German and Abigail Williams, including who that man is, just call the number on your screen. That number, 844-459-5786. Also new tonight, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett is calling on the VA to end plans to clear out a section of the old forest at Crown Hill Cemetery. The VA wants to turn the Crown Hill Northwoods into a burial site for veterans, but opponents want to protect these historic trees. Now, a compromise has been in the works for both sides, but in a statement released tonight, Mayor Joe Hogsett writes, in part, I feel a deep sense of responsibility to be responsive to the public's alarm about the future of the woods. My dream would be for these woods to become part of the city park system, one that is an endowment monument to our fallen heroes, and one that preserves sacred ground that has been undisturbed for hundreds of years. Thousands and thousands of women across the world today taking part in a Day Without Women. The protest is meant to show the impact women have on the world while demonstrating against policies participants call sexist from President Trump. The president sending out this tweet today, writing, quote, I have tremendous respect for women and the many roles they serve that are vital to the fabric of our society and our economy. On International Women's Day, join me in honoring the critical role of women here in America and around the world. Now, RTV6's Emily Pace has what this protest means for those right here in Indianapolis.
Across the world, women were absent from work, school, and various activities, all for one big cause.
A Day Without a Woman, another event organized by the same group who led this, the March on Washington, back in January. The purpose of this movement, to highlight the economic power and significance that women have in the U.S. and global economies, To prove their point, ladies around the globe were encouraged to take the day off. Haley Brannon missed work to help with the teach-in session on women's health issues. The group wrote cards and made phone calls to lawmakers, encouraging them to fight for Planned Parenthood.
There is a really scary vote going on in Washington right now. They're hearing the defund Planned Parenthood bill. So I hope that it mobilizes some of our state legislators to reach out to our federal representatives and challenge them to vote against this.
For those who couldn't take the day off, some women dressed in red. Others made sure they shopped only at small women and minority-owned businesses. While BJ Davis couldn't leave work, she appreciates the effort made by others.
If we all just sit idly by, nothing changes. Everyone needs to have a say, and if this is the only way that people listen to you, this is the way it has to be done.
Hoosier women say today is just the beginning. Emily Pace, RTV6.
You're stuck with me for another 6.5 years. That's the message from FBI Director James Comey to President Trump tonight. The two have an icy relationship right now after President Trump accused predecessor Barack Obama of wiretapping his phones during the presidential election. Comey since called that claim false, which the White House has rejected. That 6.5 years quote referencing how much time Comey has left on his 10-year term. Speaking at a cybersecurity conference at Boston College today, Comey says the FBI is renewing a focus on encryption and other cyber threats that the country is facing.
The threats are too fast, too big, and too widespread for any of us to address them alone. The way we think about fighting terrorism is very similar. The threats are hard to see, they're moving quickly. We need to work together to address them. That is every bit as true when it comes to cyber threats.
Tonight, federal investigators are now looking into that big WikiLeaks release alleging hacking by the CIA. Investigators reportedly want to know how WikiLeaks got those documents and if WikiLeaks has any more. Officials say the documents published so far appear genuine. They cover a wide range of topics, including what appears to be a discussion about how to compromise smart televisions and then turn them into surveillance devices. And also tonight, this woman, a former Marine, is speaking out after pictures of her naked ended up online. That is part of a big scandal the Marines now face. Former Private Callie Wayne accuses her ex-boyfriend of sharing the video, that link ending up on a private Facebook page. That page having similar leaked pictures of hundreds, if not thousands, of female service members.
I felt like my privacy had been taken away from me. Having to go through being harassed constantly every day of my life for the past year just because of a mistake that I made 4 years ago. It's not anything that anyone deserves to go through.
The Marines' top general calling the case embarrassing to the Marines. They are now investigating. And the son of former Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine arrested after allegedly disrupting a pro-President Trump rally. Investigators say 24-year-old Linwood Michael Kaine and others lit fireworks inside the Minnesota state capitol. He was arrested on Saturday, and right now he is not facing charges, but this case is still under investigation. Tonight, the NTSB is also investigating this deadly train bus crash that killed 4 people and injured many more. We are learning tonight this crash marks the 17th at this particular crossing in Mississippi since 1976. That bus was filled with senior citizen tourists, that is, from Austin, Texas. Now, the head of that center that organized the trips is calling this something that will never be forgotten.
We're a family, and we're here from Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30, and we have a variety of activities and luncheons, and part of our activities is going on these trips. So everybody knows everybody, and so anybody that's hurt, you're going to be worried about.
Witnesses say the train tried to slow down before hitting the bus. It's believed the bus got stuck on the tracks. How that happened, though, is still under investigation. And the effort continues tonight to put out that massive wildfire out west. It's burned hundreds of square miles of land in 4 states. This right here is the view in Kansas. A state trooper helping direct traffic when flames started to surround him. He was able to get out safely. More than 2,000 firefighters are on the job right now in Kansas alone. And crews also battling a huge wildfire down in Florida near Miami. So far, no buildings have been threatened, though many roads are off limits tonight. No word on any injuries. That fire is burning more than 3,500 acres so far. So that's about the size of LAX in Los Angeles, one of the largest airports in the country. And state lawmakers and their staff are building walls, and they're also breaking down barriers for an Indianapolis family. They're partnering with Habitat for Humanity to build a new house for a deserving mother and her daughter. The legislature raised more than $50,000 for equipment and materials needed, and the project is the first of its kind happening right outside of the State House.
It's a great project. We've had great sponsors from Lilly to Walmart, many in between, and we're thrilled for her, but more so we're thrilled for the 5,200 homes that Habitat has built over the last 30 years.
The wall panels have been moved to the home site near Eli Lilly headquarters. The 1,200 square foot house will feature 3 bedrooms and 1 full bath. And check out this picture coming in from our sister station in Detroit. It shows the plane carrying Michigan's men's basketball team that slid off the runway. That flight aborted this afternoon because of strong winds. But the brakes weren't enough to keep it from sliding off the runway. Now, tonight we're told the plane took extensive damage, but no one on board was hurt. So that's the good news. But needless to say, quite a scary situation.
And you know it's windy when you got a plane that's blowing off the runway there. Wow.
So I'm not surprised. I was complaining to you that I was getting blown about, but now if the plane's getting blown about, yeah.
You know, don't feel so bad about our attempts to get into the office this afternoon. Yeah, it's been windy. It's still going to be a little breezy as you're heading out there this evening. We've got those steady winds at 32 miles per hour out of the west here in the Indianapolis area. So if you're driving on those roads, yeah, you're going to be blown around a little bit this evening. Temperature 58 degrees, though, so we don't have to factor in a wind chill as we're enjoying some sunshine. And Storm Team 6 radar, nice and quiet for us this evening. Really don't expect much more than a couple of clouds to pass through for us tonight. And temperatures that will drop back into the upper 30s with those clear skies, and the winds, again, are really going to relax here once we get to sunset and beyond. So after 9 o'clock tonight, I think we'll have gusts under 30 miles per hour and then only about 5 to 10 miles per hour through the overnight. Let's plan out your Thursday, and it's going to start off pretty similar to today. We'll have a lot of sunshine, not as much wind. As we get into the afternoon, your lunch hour temperature 55 degrees, and then we'll start to build in some more of those clouds as we head into the afternoon. But a mild day for us, 63 degrees. I really suggest if you can get outside, enjoy the mild temperatures tomorrow, that you do that because our time is limited here. We'll find those numbers getting into the upper 50s in Tipton, 67 degrees in Spencer, far above the average high of 49. But then we're going to see that change in temperatures come with a weather system that will impact us tomorrow night. This is TrueCast, 8 o'clock on your Thursday evening. We notice some more of those clouds that'll be around, and then we'll start to see some rain showers developing, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder here, but as that colder air starts to move in, we may mix in even a few snowflakes as we get toward the midnight hour tomorrow night. Not really looking at accumulation here, maybe a brief dusting around Muncie and Anderson, but because of the mild temperatures lately, that ground is still pretty warm. So this system will move out of here, not going to be an issue for your Friday morning drive. But here's a look at high temperatures, not low temperatures, as we get into the end of your week on Friday afternoon. Just 39 degrees in Indy, barely into the 40s in Bloomington and Columbus, 35 in Muncie. And looking at the weekend, 32 for the afternoon high on Saturday. We'll only be into the 30s on Sunday, and that system on Saturday continues to take a more southern track, and that means less in the way of snow totals. Most areas should be under an inch, and some may not see any snow at all. 7-day planning forecast, it is all about the cold and winter. Melissa, what is up with this? We've got temperatures that will only be in the 30s for highs right through the middle of next week.
Oh, enjoy that 63 right there, yeah.
For sure.
All right, Kyle, thank you. We're now a few days into Kidney Disease Awareness Month, and as kidney cancer is one of the 10 most common cancers found in men, women, and even children here in the U.S., tonight, RTV6's Amanda Sorrentino is showing us the battle one teen has been fighting since he was a baby.
5 days a week, 2 hours at a time, 17-year-old Carl Matthews Foster IV is connected to this machine, a machine he cannot live without.
Well, I had a blockage and lost my actual kidneys, my kidneys, in 02, and then got one in 04, and then had it for 10 years and then lost it in 14, and so now we're looking for another kidney transplant.
In the meantime, which is a 5-year wait list, Carl is on dialysis to perform all the functions of his missing kidney, which is filtering and purifying his blood. He used to have to spend countless hours a week at the hospital to get this done, and now just within this past week, he can do it on his own time in his own space with conventional home hemodialysis. The best part, with the less restrictions, Carl gets to be a teenager.
A social life, more energy, and more like a normal person.
Dr. Cross of IU Health sees hundreds of patients a week in Indianapolis, all coming in for dialysis. He tells me 1 in every 9 people are at risk for kidney disease.
Realize how important your kidneys are to you, and the fact that they do more than make urine. They control bone marrow production of blood, they control your vitamin D, and they have lots of habits with the rest of your body's health. So it's very important that you begin to understand that people can be at risk for kidney disease that don't realize it.
You are at risk if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, a family history of any of these things, are African American, Hispanic, Asian, or American Indian, and are over the age of 60. But there are options to not be stuck in a hospital every day. Dr. Krause urges his patients to learn the benefits of home hemo.
This in the other hand.
And teaches his patients how to treat themselves.
The point about home hemodialysis, people say, well, I couldn't possibly do it. I'm not a doctor or a nurse. But the point is anybody can do it.
Dr. Krause says it is important for everyone to be kidney healthy by keeping control of your diabetes, blood pressure, putting the cigarettes away, drinking plenty of water, and exercising consistently. And for the 26 million Americans diagnosed with kidney disease, Carl says it is not a losing battle.
You just have to stay strong. No, don't plan on letting it stop me at any time.
And that was Amanda Sorrentino reporting. For more information on kidney disease and the National Kidney Foundation of Indiana, head to the IndyChannel.com/hot button section. There you can learn more about an upcoming free Indiana Kidney Check screening for you and your entire family. It's a heart-wrenching sight caught on camera. 30 cats all caged up after they're all found in the same apartment. And they weren't the only ones. The many more animals also found right there. You're watching RTV6 News at 5.